not the whole thing. The first steps, I don't want anyone to make mistakes on the first steps. The first steps are isolating, just using your your grade 8 and grade 9 equation solving skills. Once you get it down to saying cos x all by itself equals this value, then you have to think about your two options. Your two options, and it would probably help if you did both of them here. Use calculator or use exact values. Exact values, what I mean are those triangles, or if you know something about the graph, triangles or graph. Okay, I'm going to continue this down below here because I want to write more than I have given myself space. But if we were going to use the exact value triangles, how are those going to help? Which one do I need? Do I need this one? Do I need this one? Which one's going to be helpful there? Numerators. Yeah, this one, right? That one's going to help, right? You don't need this one because this one doesn't have, you can't make a cosine ratio in this one that's 1 over root 2. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that one. This is the one that you can use. If you're using this one, that angle is 45 degrees or pi over 4. It has a cosine ratio of 1 over root 2, right? What you're doing is instead of coming up with the reference angle from the calculator, you're coming up with the reference angle from the exact triangle, right? So if you're doing it this way, you're saying x reference is what? What is it equal to? Pi over 4, right? And you could say equals. It's exactly that value. It's not roughly equals. It's exactly equal to that. Then you can say what x1 and x2, and if there's other values. If we're looking between 0 and 2 pi, how many solutions do we expect here? Here's where you got to go back and examine this. This says cosine is a negative number. Cosine is negative where? In quadrant 2 and 3, right? Whether you're doing that using your grade 11 memorization of all students take something starting with C classes, or if you're just memorizing it's positive, positive, negative, negative, that's fine. Or if you make the connection with the graph of cosine, it's positive, then it goes negative, then it goes negative again, and then it goes positive. That matches what you learned in grade 11, right? It's above, then it's below, then it's below, then it's above. Whichever way you're doing that, or if you just happen to know it's negative in 2 and 3. You're looking in 2 and 3 here now. So you're looking for an angle in this quadrant, and you're looking for the other angle in this quadrant. So you're thinking of those two angles. The two angles then are going to be, the first one is going to be pi minus pi over 4. And the second one is going to be, what? Pi plus pi over 4. I'm making a mess of this sheet now that you asked me to fill it out. The other one is going to be, the second angle is going to be pi plus pi over 4. So what do we have here? We got to be good with fractions here. 1 whole minus a quarter is 3/4, right? 3 pi over 4. This is like 4 pi over 4. You don't have to write that, but you can think that. 4 pi over 4 minus 1 pi over 4 is 3 pi over 4. Or if we have 4 pi over 4 plus pi over 4, what do we have? 5 pi over 4. Your two answers then, okay, there's two answers, two solutions. And you can just say it's 3 pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. Those are the two solutions between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, I scribbled all over the rest of it here, but those are the solutions between 0 and 2 pi. Eventually, you're not even going to write this down. You're just going to write the answers. Okay, I wrote a lot here and talked about a lot because, you know, you probably need the thinking about this. Eventually, you're just going to, you get to this stage and then you can just write the answers for it. All right? If you want the general solution for that, So this is part B here. I didn't go back and use the calculator, but you could go back and use the calculator, and you could go x reference is cos inverse of positive 1 over root 2. It'll give you a rough answer here that is roughly equal to pi over 4. It'll give you like 0.70 something or other here. No, not as an angle. It says that ratio. It'll give you some angle here, whatever pi over 4 is equal to. You could use that to find the 2, but you need to be able to do it both ways. Okay? You could use the calculator, but if you are able to use exact values, I'd rather have you use exact values. The general solution here is this plus 2 pi n, or the other thing, or 5 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. That's the general solution. That's how you get all of your answers. Okay, it's an algebraic expression for all of them. Right? You got a Spanish test next or something? What's that? Oh, that's good. It's good to use different languages. Now, probably if you're on the ball, you'll be able to predict that since I asked it this way, does it have solutions? Probably what's the answer? No, because if it did have solutions, what would I have put here? What are the solutions? So the fact that I said, does it have solutions, probably the answer is no. I want you to think about why it doesn't have solutions. Because it's what? Because it's 2.3. What is significant about that? It's too big. This is too big, right? No, since sign of a number has to be less than or equal to, what's the highest sign can be? 1. It has to actually be greater than or equal to -1, but if you think about the graph, if the graph of sine looks like this, 2.3 is way up here somewhere, right? It never intersects, right? Think about what you're solving when you do this, okay? The other ones that are here, you're going to have to think about what other ways you isolate variables here. This says secant squared is 3. Secant squared is 3. Think about what your steps would be in isolating that. I am actually going to stop this because it's going to go over the 10 minutes. I know you wanted a quick lesson on this, but